What's up, everybody? It's your boy Bandito here with another comic book review, and today we're doing the review of Daredevil by Brian Michael Bendis, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Now, this will be a spoiler review, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I'll just give you my recommendation whether you should pick this book up or not. And I'm just going to say, Bendis really knocked it out the park, and I highly recommend that you pick up this book. If you can find it for less than retail at Amazon, or if they're in stock again at Cheap Graphic Novels or in stock trades, just buy, no hesitation. Now, if you're a fan of the Netflix show and you're still itching for more Daredevil, these two books will satisfy your craving. Because, man, this actually felt like it could be a continuation, season 4 and season 5. Now, before we get into the spoiler section, all those new viewers, please subscribe, like the video, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. Now let's get to the spoiler section of the review. This is the first volume. This is Dust Jacket. Oh, sorry. It's a nice cover, and even has a nice wraparound like we've seen in the overview. Now, this does take place right after Kevin Smith's run on the Daredevil, the Marvel Knights one. You can actually pick it up on the Marvel Knights Omnibus by John Caseta. I don't have that book, so I just jumped into this one. I was fine. They do show little flashbacks of what happens in the previous book, so you can jump into this book and be fine with it. The story opens up with Ben Urich investigating this little boy on the disappearance of Frogman, which we find out later on that Frogman's his dad, and that Daredevil had confronted him and they were having a battle, and something dramatic happens that leaves that boy speechless. He starts actually like drawing pictures of the battle, you can see, and he even repeats the lines that both of them exchanged during the battle. Let's see if I can open it up. And then we find out later on that the boy was being abused by his dad a lot. Every time he failed on his his crimes from Daredevil, he would always take it out on his son. But I don't want to spoil the story because it is pretty interesting to see what actually happens. So let me spoil it. I don't want to spoil it, so let me skip through this one. So the next story opens up with an assassination attempt on Kingpin. One of his men actually betrays him. And then we find out later on that he knows Matt Murdock is really Daredevil. And he starts spreading the word, and there's an assassination. There's a bounty on Matt Murdock. And all these villains start coming after him in broad daylight. And he's not even Daredevil. They're picking on him as Matt Murdock, so he doesn't understand how people know that he's Daredevil. So the only person that knew his true identity was Kingpin and Ben Urich, and he knows that Ben Urich would not have ratted him out. So he goes and talks to Kingpin before the assassination. He says that he never gave him up, that why would he do that, that he hold his word against protecting Vanessa, which is Kingpin's wife. And then we see later on that the man that betrays Kingpin was actually talking to his son, and he was telling him about why nobody would touch him, why Kingpin was afraid to actually do anything without Daredevil. And he finally confesses that Daredevil is actually Matt Murdock, and everybody actually knew, but they just didn't do anything about it. So he tried to have like these couple of guys and betray Kingpin, which leads to this whole thing about people figuring out that Matt Murdock is Daredevil. So in order for him to get away from all that, Matt Murdock tries to like limit himself from becoming Daredevil. He takes a trial which involves the white is it the White Tiger, I think it's the White Tiger. And something dramatic happens, and that that trial as well. I don't want to spoil what happens. That was actually a good read. It's actually all the stuff that's happening right here. So he tries to keep his identity hidden as much as he can from the media, because the media find out who he is and they're trying to exploit him. Matt Murdock actually finds another love interest, which is this blind girl that he meets, because she met him once in the streets while he was Daredevil, and she believes that he is Matt Murdock, and she finds out just from his voice, and so they start going on dates and all that. But we find out later on that they get married, and he doesn't want nothing to happen to her, which, spoiler, happens to Karen, which was one of his love life, and I guess in the Kevin Smith run, which we find out that Bullseye had already killed both of his love interests, which was Elektra and Karen. So he's afraid that something would happen to her just like they did. Now, we do get like cameo appearances. See, we even see Bullseye's back. We even get cameo appearances from Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Jigsaw, Black Widow, and many others. Man, this run was amazing. This was a real page turner, I mean. Something dramatic does happen in the middle of this book. Daredevil actually gets fed up with all the crimes and everything, and he actually beats up Kingpin because he survives from his assassination attempt, and he takes up the mantle of Kingpin, and he calls himself a Kingpin, and he takes off his mask, and he starts telling all those criminals that if they want to keep doing crimes here, that he'll beat them up, and if they want to do some like crime, sell drugs, or do anything illegal, that he needs to get out of Hell's Kitchen. This is the end. Now let's go look at the second book. Now this is volume 2 of the Daredevil run. And this side, in this story, we actually see more of the consequences that Daredevil had on becoming new Kingpin. We see people being affected by it. We actually get a glimpse of people's perspective on whether they're against Daredevil or they support him. They have this like support group in church, and they're all talking about whether they believe that Daredevil had planned against, well, not planned, but had done something to do with their husbands or wives or somebody dying in their family. And then we find out later on that it was this demonic being it's a little baby that's inside and like controlling people, telling them what to do, so he can blame Daredevil for all this. But Matt Murdock confronts one of them, because I think one of them actually has the baby, the demonic baby inside them. You can see here. So that was actually a literally creepy story to actually read. Then we find out later on that Elektra comes back, which was kind of surprising because I thought she had died in the Frank Miller run. I never really read it, but everybody knows that that's where she was killed by Bullseye. And then we see Bullseye coming back too as well, as we can see here. We even get Black Widow. Now, at the end of the story, Matt Murdock's actually charged for being a vigilante, I guess. And he's being charged, and we get like some, I don't know if it's flash scenes or dream scenes or flashbacks, but we actually see his blind girlfriend or wife, who was secretly his wife, being murdered. And then he actually kills Daredevil. Ooh, too far first. He actually kills Bullseye. And I don't know if that was real or fake or it was just all a dream. But we see that he escapes trial and he runs away with Elektra. But then we find out that Kingpin ratted him out again, and he goes back to prison as well. It just felt like there was more to it than this. I know that Ed Brubaker takes over after this run, so I have to pick up those books because they felt like there was still more to this than what was there. We do get a little what if in the back, and Marvel Team Ups volume issues 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, 6 and 7, which is gonna be the Punisher and Spider-Man. I didn't really read these. I just skipped over it because I was more interested in the main story. This was my review of Daredevil by Brian Michael Bendis, Volume 1 and Volume 2. I know I left a lot of major plot points left in the first volume and the second one, but I just wanted you to read it for yourself because, man, this was an amazing run. And I can see this being one of my top 10 books of the year. And if you can actually find it on Amazon still, or in stock trades when they restock it, just pick it up. Don't hesitate. This was an amazing run. Leave me a comment whether you enjoyed this book or you already picked it up or you're looking to pick it up. And if you're new, please subscribe, hit that like button, and hit the notification bell so that way you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Please stay safe out there, and just keep reading. Peace.